I want a Truth and Justice Commission with extremely large powers of arrest and perjury and compel people to turn up. Do we have any grooming gangs in London? And he said, and I'll explain why he says these things, but he said, what do you mean by grooming gangs?
The Labour Party have changed their position from everything's fine, nothing to see here, move along. It's because it's not gone away. So they've now changed it. So Yvette Cooper has now launched a national inquiry. But is it a national inquiry?
No, it's not a national inquiry. She's announced 5 pilot schemes for 5 areas, and they're going to get £2 million each to run their small independent inquiry, which will have no power to compel people to give evidence, won't have any powers to punish people for perjury, won't have any power to compel people to hand over evidence and information. These are basically, it's a whitewash. It's to get rid of this issue that they're not going to allow inquiries. It's a waste of money, it's a waste of resources, and we can't let them get away with it.
Do you think it will mollify people, that, or do you think they will?
It will, a lot of people, because a lot of people don't look into the detail.
Don't understand, yeah.
And it's, we're getting an inquiry now.
Yeah, what are you complaining about? We're getting an inquiry now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm at a stage where I don't want an inquiry, even a national inquiry, because I've talked about before about the
you want punishment,
terms of reference, because who writes the terms of reference?
Yeah.
I would like...
You want action.
I want a Truth and Justice Commission with extremely large powers of arrest and perjury and compel people to turn up.
Is that what they call a Truth and Reconciliation Committee?
In South Africa, they call it.
Is that a similar thing?
Yeah, I want something like that, because when the state has been actively involved in the cover-up of rape and abuse and murder of hundreds of thousands of its citizens, you can't allow the state to investigate itself, just like you can't allow the councils to investigate themselves. You know, you don't mark your own homework.
Yeah.
So hence why we need something fully independent from government with far-reaching powers. That's what I want.
So you're talking about a roving, proactive organisation that can make things happen, basically. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah. So powerful it can call the Prime Minister to answer. That he has to turn up to give evidence if he gets called. That's how powerful I want it to be.
That would be good.
Yeah.
I asked you to have a look at this because I literally haven't had time. Sadiq Khan was quizzed on the grooming gangs.
Yep, I saw the video.
So, I don't know what's happened here, Nick, but perhaps you would explain. I mean, Sadiq Khan, our favourite Pakistani, apparently he pretended he didn't know what a grooming gang was. Is that true?
No. He was asked by the Tory member of the London Assembly, the lady who ran for mayor.
Yeah.
Forgot her name now. She basically said to him, do we have any, this is virtually word for word, do we have any grooming gangs in London? And he said, and I'll explain why he says these things, but he said, what do you mean by grooming gangs? When you have men grooming...
This is what she responded.
Yeah, she responded. When you have men grooming young women with alcohol and taxi rides and stuff like that, and then abuse them and rape them, and he kept picking the words and going, well, what do you mean by that? And she said, well, you should know what I mean because it's on the news. I mean that. I can't be any more clearer. And what he was doing...
was trying to get her to say...
the P word.
Yeah.
He was trying to get her to say Pakistani grooming gangs, and then he was going to go on a rant about racism and it's not Pakistan. And I've got figures here that most rapes are caused by white men. He was goading her, and she knew, and she kept refusing to use the word Pakistani. It made him look like an idiot. When I first started watching it, I was thinking, why aren't you using the word Pakistani? Tell him. And I thought, no. He was being smarmy. He had his answers ready to shoot her down, but she didn't fall for the trap. And he was basically saying, we don't have that issue in London. That's basically what he was saying.
How does he know?
He said, we basically don't have that issue in London.
So how would you have responded to that question then? Would you have said Pakistani grooming gangs? or Pakistani?
Well, she knows more than me on how Sadiq works because she sits in meetings with him and asks him questions. So I think
She knew what was happening.
I think she did it the right way.
Yeah.
Because if you'd asked the question the way he expected, his answer would all have been about Pakistanis don't do this, look at this, and that would have been the end of her time asking questions. So she was clever enough to know what he's like, which I don't. I've never met the man, but she has. So it was quite clever of her to make sure she didn't fall for that trap.